response, we have 20 days to make our response, at which time, if all goes well, we will be prepared for oral arguments in front of the judge. And the judge will decide what? Whether or not to quash, I love the word, it has a nice sound, whether or not to quash the proceedings that were put forward at the commissioners' meeting. That is to say, they voted 3-2 to allow the hotel to go forward. And very quickly, the basis of our case is somewhat procedural. That is to say, we argued that the regulations of Boynton Beach were not followed, in that the commissioners never listened to us when we said the right to privacy, which is part of the law, has been violated. They did not take that up. When we said you have to look at a 2-block radius around the hotel and ask whether or not the hotel is in keeping with the general environment around that. They did not take that up. So those kinds of things are one aspect of our case. Excuse me. Second aspect is our constitutional rights were violated during the hearing. I won't detail it. Our lawyer knows all about those kinds of things, and he's put that into this document. A large part of the document is a verbatim of the hearing itself, by page, by number, and I'm going to leave this up here so if anybody wants to look at it afterwards, it's kind of interesting. If you don't hear about all these things before, it's a good education, so I'll put that right up here. So that's where we were the last time we met, and then we also talked about, besides these things that are in the petition, we are continuing our work looking at, what should we call it, researchy type of issues that could stop the hotel dead in its tracks. Some of these things, if they are reheard, and that's what we're asking for, a rehearing, the developer might say, I'll give privacy, I'll turn the building around so it doesn't bother Carmel Ann who lives in building I. Well, that doesn't stop the hotel. Or, okay, we'll find another way into the hotel besides ocean. That doesn't necessarily stop the hotel. So the research type of issues that we're looking at are what I call dead-enders. Stops the hotel in its track. Now, there's 3 of them that I'll just mention in passing. One is the drainage issue. We were not going to talk about drainage tonight, but guess what we had the other day? So I think we should at least mention a drainage issue. And in a few minutes, we'll ask Shirley, who's been working in that area, to comment on it. A second issue, I'm forgetting them all. Well, this is a little bit that's in the petition, and that is a zoning issue. Is he really allowed to come out onto Ocean Road under the zoning category that he has? So we're looking into that. And the third thing that we're looking into, which is why we assembled you here tonight, is the golf course parking issue. We talked about golf course parking in the hearing, but we didn't have time to really do the research that was needed to see what is the status of golf course parking. So we'll spend most of our time talking about that. And the next meeting that we have, which won't be for a while, so it's okay, you can take time off, but we won't. The next meeting we'll have a more detail about, we hope, drainage, sewage, and all those kinds of mucky things. So we'll just have a few brief reports tonight, and then we'll move into golf parking. You should feel free to ask questions. You should feel free to bring information. You should feel free to stamp your foot if you're angry about anything. If you have ideas, we need that. We need lots of thinking. Come on in. Is there a chair for Bill?
I'll get a chair for my wife.
Is that Mrs. Bill? All right. So first, let's hear any questions to this moment.
Sorry for this.
Okay. Shirley.
Well, research is what I've been working on for over a year. And with the courthouse records,
If you can't
the
hear her,
appraiser's
yell at her.
office, every possible way, we can find out who had owned the property, the title of property, and anything about the property is what we've been working on to make sure that anything that's done is done legally. We don't want anything to slip